What's your most successful unethical life hack? Need new tires? Rent a car with same bolt pattern and swap the wheels. That joke Dave Chappelle had about riding in the car with a white guy and the guy saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to do that." I've done that in tons of places. I've wandered into restricted areas and zoos and in theme parks. Got caught and was like, "Oopsie, we were looking for the bathroom and we got lost." Most of the time they'll escort you back to the main park area. But sometimes you'll meet someone cool and you get a behind the scenes tour. So long as you know how to chat someone up, make some small talk. Don't come off as a creep or like you deserve to be back there. Most of the time the low level employee will take you the long way back to the park and you get to see some cool stuff. Heck, one time in a zoo I got to feed some giraffes because me and a buddy got caught wandering and this lady was frantic. I asked her what was wrong and she said she's behind schedule getting food to the animals. So we offered to help since we both had restaurant experience dicing vegetables. 20 minutes later we have like 10 bowls of food ready and she let us feed some giraffes carrots and stuff. Edit to add, if you do this at a zoo, do not try to get into the enclosures. Weigh the risk versus the reward. Gonna go to jail? Probs not worth it. Gonna get put on a list that goes out to all the airports? Def's not worth it. Gonna get to feed some cool animals? We'll see. This one's a long game but start building a reputation as a bad liar. Tell mundane lies with overt tells. Over time people will trust your truthfulness on everything else you say. The possibilities are endless. Lied on my resume to get my first job in IT, then crammed watching videos of the technologies the job description wanted and got the job after lying in the interview. I got a parking ticket my first or second semester at a junior college. Can't remember anymore. The ticket came in a little unmarked and unsealed envelope. Instead of getting a permit, I put that envelope back under my windshield wiper every morning so they thought they had already given me a ticket. I did that for 2 or 3 semesters before eventually transferring. So, paid $1.30 ticket for over a year of school parking. I once got a parking ticket and instead of paying it I dipped it in water, crumpled it up, and had my GF bring it to the police station a week later saying she found it on the street. I went online to see if the citation was still there and it was gone. If you rock the vending machine back and forth to dislodge the trapped Snickers bar, then you improve the gene pool for the rest of us. Complain, complain, complain. Email giant companies with some mundane dissatisfaction with their product and many will just throw replacements or high value coupons at you. Some companies are way more responsive than others. I've kept my room key so I can pool crash the MGM on other trips to Vegas. They don't scan your room key. The attendant just needs to see it. Using coffee straws for free laundry via my apartment's washing machine. Need to replace an old video game controller? Go to GameStop and buy an identical one. After waiting overnight, go back to GameStop with your old broken controller in the bag and return it for a full refund exchange. Source: totally did it last week. If you want to buy something online, first create a dozen fake email accounts and then badger the seller with absurdly low offers. Like really be mean and ditty about it. Next sign into your real email and offer a low but reasonable offer. He'll be so relieved to hear from someone that's not an arsehole that you can get a nice discount when he accepts your low offer. Had new phone in back pocket. Sat down without thinking. Cracked screen. Next day, received call from provider asking if I was sure I didn't want protection plan. I had declined. I told him he was a good salesman and accepted. Returned phone for new one 2 weeks later. Cancelled protection plan. If you have siblings, blame them for everything. Stuff a wadded up piece of paper into the inside of the change return hole of all the vending machines you see. Come back in a few days to reap your rewards. Defer your federal student loans as long as you possibly can. And when the time comes to pony up or go to jail, get a job with the federal government. You'll pay much less and your loans will be forgiven in 10 years. If you don't want to pay anything back, defer for as long as you can, and then die. My dad gets air mattresses from Big 5 for free. He's been doing it for years. Whenever his old one breaks, he buys a new one, puts the old one in the new box, takes it back and says it's defective and gets his money back, and keeps the new one. I guess you could do this with a lot of things, but he limits his gig to air mattresses. Want to save yourself $0.49 and commit a federal crime? Put a letter in a mailbox with no postage. Put the destination as the return address. As an older person, I can reliably assert that acting confused and or hard of hearing can get you out of most minor troubles. Use the self-pay kiosk at the movies. Instead of the regular adult, I choose the senior. I would do the child, but usually watching something R-rated. The 15-year-old ripping your ticket at the cinema rarely would check. If they do, you just play dumb and push the wrong button. Saves a few bucks. Signing up for stuff under a fake name to get free stuff at campus fairs. Sometimes when a building is locked after hours and I'm there during the day, I will crumple up a napkin and stick it in the lock so I can come back later. Amazon Prime customer. Every time an item doesn't turn up the following day, even if you have received an email telling you it will be delayed. Every single time. Live chat Amazon customer services. I find I have to Google it as it's very difficult to get to from their website. Explain how disappointed you are and that you pay extra to be a Prime customer. Usually get 1 month free Prime membership. I've got 5 months free membership so far and counting. Most items I actually didn't care they were delayed but thought it was worth trying my luck. I don't know if this counts, but I have an obnoxious co-worker that never stops talking, so I started sticking my hands in the hand dryers every time he spoke to me. Situated in our workplace for hygiene reasons, so I couldn't hear him, and now he just doesn't bother trying anymore. I eat a donut every time I go to the grocery store and I don't pay for it. You never get busted just casually eating it as you do your shopping. I was caught speeding once. I have a concealed pistol license, but almost never carry. When I was pulled over, I handed the cop my driver's license and the CPL. He asked if I had a weapon and I said, "It's in the glove compartment. Do you want me to get my documents? I don't want to open it without your permission." He said, "Nope. The fewer guns I see, the better." Slow down and left. There was no pistol in the glove compartment. Start a charity based on some issue awareness. 95% of donations go to cover overhead. 5% go to helping people be aware. Not sure if they still do this, but when I was in college, Amazon offered 6 months of Prime free if you use your student email address. Street my college. You can change your email address to something else than what they gave you as a default. So I just changed it every 6 months and got Prime for free for 4 years. I have this brother-in-law. He buys those gas-powered lawn edgers from Sears. The things are famous for lasting a season or two, since the engines are so temperamental. Anyway, he uses it all summer and fall. At the end of the season, he pours in a little extra oil into the gas mixture, takes it back to Sears and says the engine is ready to blow because there's a lot of smoke coming from the exhaust. He then proceeds to start the engine right in the store to prove his point. This drives them nuts. They tell him to shut it down and proceed to give him a new one. Next year, repeat and reflush. Different Sears store. I think he's on number 5 now. If you have a life savings and want to get on welfare, instead of living off your life's savings, buy a home with it. You just basically converted your money into an asset that the government won't consider when you apply for government benefits. Note, I've never done this, but found this out when seeing if I qualified for government assistance. Smoke some pot and put red eye relief eye drops in only one eye. Now you have pinky. Do with it what you will. Not me, but a friend of a friend went to a couple of music festivals, sold bunk pills, and made enough $ to buy a new car. I didn't do this, but someone I went to high school worked at a Walmart pushing carts. He would find receipts left behind. If he found a receipt for something he liked, he would keep it. Later he would take whatever the receipt was for, and if he got stopped, sets off the alarm, he would just pull out his receipt and say he bought it during his lunch break. He bragged how the manager said they were being hit by a pro. Eventually he was caught when he tried to steal a Wii. Walk around a neighborhood. You know, college students live like apartments. They are 50% likely to drop cash on the ground. Pick it up and take it. During college in the 5 years I've found $300 on the ground. At the self-checkout, ring up your expensive organic fruit as inexpensive regular fruit. I have never gotten caught, but just play stupid like the checkout confused you and in your frustration just picked the item that looked closest to what you had. Get good at lying. It makes life a lot easier as long as you can keep the lie going. Steal 2 from a pile and jokingly put 1 back saying you're no thief. There you go. Free anything from a pile so long as you can pull it off. If you speed, drive a maximum of 10 over 5 and you won't be pulled over, but 10 and it's fairly easy to talk your way out of a ticket. My friend and I went to a concert with $15 nosebleed tickets that we bought last minute. We printed them out on computer paper. When we got to the venue I noticed the people going into the pit had yellow wristbands. I cut our paper into long thin strips and dipped them in mustard from the hot dog stand and made wristbands. We pulled our cell phones out to act casual and walked with a group that was going in. Gave a quick flash of the wrist to the security and that's how we got $180 front row seats for cheap. The most unethical thing I know was to go to different schools and universities and start raising funds. I was maybe 17 years old, so I had the perfect look for a high school or early college. Don't know what it is in English. I'm German. Student. I would go around different classes to collect money for children in Africa, rainforests or immigrants. I appeared just like a student who was being a good Samaritan and was working on a project. The teacher would always tip something to act as a good role model, and several students would follow up to impress the teacher. Best thing about it was that even if someone would try accusing me of anything, which never happened BTW, I could just donate the money for real and everything was well under the rug. Edit. Spelling. Making quick grilled cheese by turning a toaster on its side. Putting in 2 slices of bread with a slice of cheese on one. Sounds simple, right? I even made sure that the cheese was the right size. Well, Murphy's Law happened and now I have a toaster that looks like Shrek ducked bareback and left his special present inside. Edit. Completely misread post as unsuccessful life hacks. Whoops. We used to do this in high school college to double our beer purchases, but it works worth anything. 2 people go into a big store. This is specifically designed for Walmart, but should work any place with 2 exits, and fill up carts with the exact same things. 2 cases of your brand of beer and a bottle of wine. For example, one person checks out, leaves, then comes in another entrance to pass the receipt off to the second person waiting with the second loaded out cart. They then walk out of another exit and if anyone asks for a receipt, you've got one and it's for the right date, time and products. This might be a bit outdated now because it's so easy to order everything online, but if a local store doesn't carry the product you want them to, just call them and ask them if they have it, and have a few friends call and do the same. Also ask if they have it every time you go in, and have a friend or 2 to do the same. Eventually they will think that everyone is asking about product X, so they should start keeping it in stock. When I was younger, me and some friends got a local sporting goods store to carry disc golf discs by doing this. You can scam the Redbox movie vending machine. Just carefully remove the sticker and place on a blank disc. Boom. A movie for less than $2. If you get caught doing anything, just act stupid. Never give in and most likely you'll get a slap on the wrist and don't do it again. Go the speed limit in the fast lane. Soon as someone gets real close, shift down. If using an automatic, just shift and drive to 3 or 2, then brace yourself. Wait till a few weeks after and go to the doctors and complain about neck pain from the accident. This will be a pricing buy, and if you don't have okayish insurance, get some tests done and your doctor will be willing to tell you anything that allows him to charge your insurance. Don't take those bills. Findings from the accident. Go to a lawyer that only gets paid if he wins. Shop around. ? Profit. Their insurance will most likely cover everything and only pop up as a higher premium for a few years, and you can easily get 50k. If you do this to someone in a nice car, chances are higher for bigger payout. Only saying this because this is what someone did to my mother 10 years back. Rob a rich person to become rich. For a cheaper airline ticket, buy a ticket to a less traveled place with a layover in your actual destination. When you order pizza for delivery, call the place after the driver has left and say something was wrong with the pizza. Chances are they will either 1. Refund you, 2. Send a free pizza, 3. Give you a free pizza next time you order. Just don't do it too often. From the same place, or with the same driver. Buying something from Craigslist? Tell the seller that you live in a city 20-30 miles from where you actually do and ask them to meet you halfway in the city you actually live in. Seller lives in city A. You live in city B. Tell the seller you live in city C and ask to meet in B. If you are creative enough with your responses, you can self-promote while still contributing to the discussion and disguise your true intentions. Evil cackle. I learned this while trying to promote my son's gaming YouTube channel Charlie Brown TV. I would never do that here. If you want to be an interesting person, visit lots of travel blogs, or even the travel subs, TripAdvisor etc. Lots of people who travel to common places do the exact same things. You can easily be that guy who has traveled to 20 countries without having ever traveled to any countries. Wish if your package doesn't arrive on the exact estimated date, you can request a refund. They will refund your purchase, and if your item still arrives you don't have to return it. They also have a horrible tracking system, so even if you get your package early, when the ETA date rolls around you can say you never received it. Can also work with Amazon sometimes and Etsy. I used to scam free extra dipping sauces from MCDs. This is how. You go through the drive-thru when it is busy, order your McNuggets, pay for them at the first window. Then when you get up to the pickup window, act like you forgot to buy extra sauces and ask if you can buy them right then and there while holding out a credit card. Do not hold out cash because the attendant might just pocket it. Odds are they will just give them to you for free, since what you just did was throw a big monkey wrench into the finely run machine that is the drive-thru ordering pickup process. My local MCDs suddenly got really stingy with condiments, only giving you the minimum and posting signs saying extra condiments would cost extra. They've since changed and are no longer stingy, so I don't need to use this method anymore. Edit. I once tried this same thing at a Pizza Hut drive-thru. Got a free soda. I found this one out from my friend's dad. If you are driving in scrubs or a lab coat and get pulled over, just say that you were speeding because you are on call for a major emergency surgery. Not exactly a hack, but make presentations, PowerPoint and such, using porn actresses actors instead of stock photo people. If the teacher professor doesn't watch porn they won't suspect. If they do recognize the individuals they probably won't call you out on it. Edit. I take no responsibility for possible or eventual motions taken by any educational entities as means to punishing you should this hack fail. I buy things from other countries from sellers who do not offer a tracked shipment. I get the items and then I wait a couple of weeks. Then I send an email telling them how I still did not receive the items. They usually tell me to just wait. Long distance from there to here. Check your local post office. I thank them for their quick reply and I tell them that I'll gladly wait. I let another couple of weeks pass by, then I repeat. I let another week pass and I tell them that I would just like a refund for the item, since if they haven't arrived by now they are probably lost. Works 95% of the times. I once went to an event that had vehicles parking along a public road. As I was looking for a spot to park I noticed most cars had a parking ticket on the windshield. I found an open spot and thought I'll just pay a ticket if I'm given one. My passenger got out after I parked and walked a couple cars down until he found one with a ticket and removed it and put it under my wiper. After the event that ticket was still there. I just pulled it off and dropped it on the ground. No ticket for me. I used to work at a Subway. We were not allowed to get tips. I knew where the camera could not see and kept a tip cup when I worked. After serving customers I would empty the cup in my pocket and then prime it with $1. Most people would see a single dollar and feel bad, so they would tip $1 or $2. On a good night I cleared $200 on a 6-hour shift.